Good morning. It's Tuesday, April 16th, day after Tax Day. Well, some might say a National Depression Day. However, sorry.
And Judge Hudson's birthday.
And Judge Hudson's coincides. All right. Will you all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start with a prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we beseech your divine guidance in this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen.
Amen.
All right. And we've got minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of the April 9th meeting.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussions or changes? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. All right. And open public comment regarding any of our pending resolutions? Seeing none, we'll proceed. County Engineer's Office.
Morning.
Good morning.
Enjoy the weather while you have it.
I know, man.
Let's see. I've got two resolutions for your consideration today. The first is authorizing the county to participate with the ODOT winter contract for road salt, and the second is authorizing the Medina County Engineer to purchase a new case loader.
Move to approve both resolutions.
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, Jeremy Sinko, Sanitary Engineer.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Only one resolution for consideration today, and that's authorizing the sanitary engineer to obtain an easement for the Medina Road Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Just one thing to add. Sorry, I know you're
Sure.
disrupting your pace here. It is great when we spend $100 on a sanitary project.
It really is. It is. That's a good point.
Especially on an easement. Nice. Like, cool. Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Next, Steve Sikora with Job and Family Services.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Enjoy this spring day. And I wanted to first thank you for, I wasn't here last week at the Commissioners meeting, and just say thank you for letting us have the great day for the solar eclipse. Probably something I likely will never see in my lifetime again.
Yeah.
So thank you for allowing us that time off to be with our families and watch that. Totally amazing experience.
It
So
was,
thank you
yeah.
for that. Yeah. So I have a couple of resolutions today. The first is a resolution authorizing the advertisement for proposals relating to foster and adoption recruitment and mentoring services for JFS. Second is resolution authorizing county auditor transfer funds from the JFS services for 4E to the JFS Public Assistance Fund for 4E expenditures. Third is a resolution authorizing the county auditor to transfer funds from JFS SCPA to the JFS Public Assistance for administration expenses. And the fourth is a resolution authorizing an amended agreement for comprehensive case management program between Department of Job and Family Services and Tri-County Jobs for Ohio Graduates.
Move to approve the four resolutions.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you,
Very good.
Commissioners.
Thanks. Have a good day. Holly Buren, or not here?
Do not see her.
Well, we'll move that aside. Finance, go ahead, and Brett Thomas.
Chris? Do you know where Holly is?
That's all right. We can proceed till she gets here. So go ahead.
All right. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
First of all, today is a national holiday for those of us that prepare taxes. So, I have 5 resolutions for you guys today. Our first one is a cash transfer to the Medina Soil and Water Conservation District. This was part of our original budgeting for the year. Our second resolution is authorizing the acceptance of the onset grant, which is for the smuggling enforcement team for the sheriff. That's in the amount of $186,545.85. Our third resolution today is the purchase of 6,000 gallons of unleaded gasoline for the engineering center. Centerra Co-op is actually our low bidder today for the amount of $2.52.5 per gallon.
All right.
Our fourth resolution today is expenses of county officials. We do have one that is out of state to this time for the sheriffs for a mock prison riot training in West Virginia. That actually sounds interesting. Our fifth and final resolution today is our weekly bills in the amount of $1,646,365.45.
Move to approve the 5 resolutions.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion or? Okay, roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. Very good. Thank you, Brett. Next, Holly Murin, our Human Resources Director. Good morning.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. We're moving quickly. So. Okay.
On our personal resolution today, we have 2 new hires, 1 in IT, 1 at Office for Older Adults, 2 rate increases, 1 at Sanitary, 1 at Dog Shelter, 2 leave of absence at Job and Family Services, and 1 return from leave at Job and Family Services.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Ms. Holly.
Next, we have Chris Jacob, our County Administrator. Good morning, Chris.
Four resolutions this morning, I think, or is it five? Five. First resolution authorizes the leasing of vehicles for the Medina County Stormwater Department. That's through our Enterprise Fleet Program. Next resolution, also through Enterprise, authorizes the leasing of vehicles for the Medina County Sanitary Engineering Department. This is for 3 Ford F-250 vehicles. Next resolution approves the final plan for the Medina County countywide 911 system. This was a plan that was submitted by the committee, 911 Program Review Committee. It was provided to us on March 25th, and we have, as does every political subdivision in Medina County, has 60 days to either approve or disapprove the plan. Next resolution approves the donation of various items from the 1969 Medina County Courthouse to the City of Medina for reuse in their municipal court operations to be located in that same building. And final resolution authorizes the county administrator to enter into an agreement with HSB Architects and Engineers for design services for the restroom renovations and wayfinding projects located in the county administration building. Back in the fall, we did an RFQ for miscellaneous architectural design services. This is one of the 5 firms that had responded. We hope to get this work started in the near future.
Great. Move to approve 5 resolutions.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? First thing I'll say, the 911, and thanks for clarifying that. I did have a call from a township whether they needed to approve this or not, and make it clear that they do. Have to.
Approve or disapprove.
Approve or disapprove, have the opportunity to voice their opinion and approve or not. So anyway.
Right.
And the other regarding the, basically donating the furniture items from the from the 69 courthouse to the City of Medina, we should have included that in the lease negotiations, left all the furniture and let them know, hey, it's part of the lease, and we wouldn't have had to inventory or do a lot of work. But it was just a thought after the fact.
I just wanted to say great job to everybody involved in the 911 plan. I know that was a lot of work, and also the bathroom renovations are a long time coming. So
Yes.
I have a question about that too. Because wayfinding, I noticed is part of that, which I appreciate you including, and that's just more to make it, I would say, in general, the building a little bit more user-friendly. People
Yes.
come in and maybe have a few less instructional signs taped to the walls would be my grand vision for that.
Yes.
But I'm sure others have ideas as well. So would we think as part of that, and we're going to probably take the architect's lead, we'd have some communication between the auditor and recorder's office and maybe how we can facilitate that? Or how do you see that moving forward?
Yeah, I think we kind of get a group together and talk about difficulties and obstacles that the public has experienced over the years locating offices in this building and see if we can do a better job. And
Great.
Yeah, we'd appreciate everyone's input. So
Yeah, and I'm happy to be part of that too as a
Great.
previous user in addition to
great.
my role here. So thanks.
Good idea. Good. Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to rotate Bethany Dentler out of order, or in the order Economic Development Executive Director, to talk about she has a place she needs to be. So I want to go ahead and give her the opportunity, if you don't mind, Richard. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
So year-to-date, Medina County's economic development activity has exceeded where we were last year at this time. We've seen a 32% increase in the number of companies making capital investments. And so far in 2024, we've seen $88 million of new capital investments committed through the first quarter, and that's more than twice the level that we saw in April of 2023. The projects this year are associated with 180 new jobs with projected additional annual payroll of $6 million. And we also expect to see a continued healthy level of capital investments through the end of the year. And as is typical, we're seeing interest throughout the entire county. We've seen some new manufacturing plants move to Brunswick this year. We're processing new tax abatement applications for expansion projects in Liverpool Township. We're making great strides on commercial projects in the city of Medina, and we're also working on the development of a new industrial park in Harrisville Township. Our business retention and expansion visitation program has resulted in meetings with nearly 70 companies so far this year, where, as usual, we continue to hear about the need for workers and support for their talent attraction, retention, and training efforts. Medina County's unemployment rate has crept up a bit in the most recent report from this February. Medina County's 4.0 unemployment rate is higher than January's rate of 3.7%, but it's still below last year's February rate of 4.5%. Our current unemployment rate is also below the 4.4% for the state of Ohio and the 4.2% average unemployment rate nationwide. I thought it was also interesting to see that in Medina County, there are currently 95,700 people in the labor force as of February, which is 1,200 less than January. And we also have 3,800 people who are unemployed and seeking work, which is 1,300 more than the prior month. So there are fewer people in the labor force, but the ones who are in the labor force, there's more of them actually seeking work. Our increased unemployment rate isn't all bad news, because it means that there are more people available to be hired by county employers who probably have 3 times the number of job openings than there are job seekers. So our low unemployment rates continue to stress the importance of our work in workforce development. So we have a few updates on that front, kind of along the lines of developing our pipeline of future workers. Our pre-apprenticeship coordinator, Will Coran, is now working with 127 Medina County high school students who are now on track to graduate from high school this spring as a result of this program. This is up from the 70 students who started the school year in the pre-apprenticeship program. This year's program has involved student visits from multiple school districts to other businesses, as well as Magnet Student Engagement Center in Cleveland. And today, Will is hosting a final, what we call Workforce Academy Day at Medina High School. It is featuring 11 soft skills modules that are being taught by business volunteers. They're going to focus on topics like resume building, handling job fairs, interviewing, work culture, and more. I'd like to note that by the end of this school year, MCEDC's program, which was certified by the Ohio Department of Education in 2022, will have assisted a total of 280 county students who received their high school diplomas and are entering the workforce as a result of the program. For our career coach update, Mitchell has met now with 135 students for one-on-one coaching sessions with Medina County high school students, mostly seniors, although he is working with juniors and can go as high as the age of 24 in his career coaching. He's also promoting applications to our work scholarship program, which we've talked about. And last month, Mitchell organized an engineering expo at Highland High School, which had 50 students and 23 businesses in attendance. And he's also working on career fairs with Brunswick and Wadsworth school districts later this month. A few other updates on our activities at Medina County Economic Development. We had a packed room for what we called a Mayors and Managers Roundtable meeting held on April 9th. Team NEO and Case Western Reserve are working together and wanted feedback on their efforts to build a collaboration and apply for a significant level of federal grant funding to help manufacturers in Northeast Ohio become more competitive. I will say Team NEO was extremely impressed by the quality of the people in the room. They were they were impressed by the robust thought leadership of our manufacturers, particularly. And so we're hoping that our involvement will lead to greater collaboration of Medina County in their plans to put together a grant application for $500 million. So hopefully we'll have a piece of that. Now it's $50 million over 10 years, but still. There was, I think there's some desire for training centers in Medina County specific to the tools and skills that our businesses need. The Medina County Land Bank, we're certainly happy to be working with the Land Bank Board. We'll be providing a formal agreement to serve as your administrator at the next week's board meeting. Brandon is currently leading an effort to apply for a state grant to support new housing developments as the affordable housing challenge continues to impact Medina County's ability to attract young workers to live here. I talked to one of my board members who runs a manufacturing plant in Medina, and he said he's got 2 great young workers who can't afford to live here, so they're traveling down from Cuyahoga County. My question is, how long are they going to keep doing that if we can't find a place for them to live close to where they work? One more land bank item. I'm registered to attend the Ohio Land Bank Association annual conference in Akron next week. So as we get started, hopefully we'll pick up a lot of great ideas for how that should be operated. A couple of updates on the Port Authority. We've been working on a capital lease project to support the construction of the new Acme grocery store in Medina. It's a long time coming if you've lived in that corridor. We're also helping with the financing of the new Legacy Hotel project in Medina. We've also finalized the submission of over $1.5 million in brownfields and building demolition grants to the Ohio Department of Development. Once those applications are approved, those projects will have until next June to be completed. But the 5 projects that we approved for an additional $330,000 of reallocated grant funding from the first round, they have to finish those demolition projects and submit invoices to the Port Authority by the end of next month so that we can process their grant reimbursements if they want their money back. So Brandon has been making phone calls to developers and saying, hello, get your project scheduled. So those should be happening in the next few weeks. Our Convention and Visitors Bureau update. Sherry just handed out a few of the 65,000 copies of the 2024-2025 Medina County Visitor Guide. It is truly beautiful.
It is.
Very high quality. It was just delivered to the CVB last Thursday and is now being distributed across all the Ohio Turnpike locations and in multiple states. We're working with 3 distribution companies that cover most of Ohio, Northern Kentucky, much of Michigan. We've got Nashville, Northern Tennessee. We're also working with AAA offices and other CVBs, which will start to receive the new guide in upcoming weeks. They'll share that at their locations for visitors looking for information, and the digital version of the guide will be released in the next week or so. Over the past few quarters, the CVB has focused on implementing our annual marketing plan that was approved last summer. It includes year-long print, digital, and social presence in Ohio Magazine and long weekends. We also have a presence on both the digital and printed Ohio State Guide, advertising in the Canadian market. We're also advertising in the Cincinnati Reds playbook. Medina County has a year-long commercial spot with PBS, which showcases our Medina County community seasonally. So those commercials change every season to known target demographics. I gave the report to Rhonda, and there are hyperlinks in that report that you can actually go to see those commercials and the digital version of those ads. We also have a 5-minute spot on Medina County tourism destinations running on Columbus TV. This is targeting overnight and weekend tourists with our new tagline of timeless charm and vibrant spirit. This Good Day Marketplace interview with the CVB leadership is also online, and that link is there on Fox 28 Columbus. Just so that you'll know, have a little bit of a background, the CVB's marketing plan is broken down. We focus 60% on digital sources and 40% on print content. We want to make sure that we're targeting all of the appropriate demographics who travel and are looking for their next trip. We know that when you're planning a trip, you're usually not making a phone call and sending away for a guide, but you're going online to research online. So we need to be online where visitors are planning their trips. In the organic social media space, we've been working with social media influencers such as Brandy Gleason, whose Ohio Road Trips Facebook page has over 1 million followers. Working with Brandy, the CVB has helped to create several viral posts that have showcased events in Medina County, like the Wadsworth Thriller event and the Medina Ice Festival. Together, those posts have engaged over 60,000 people. We've seen the results page, and the influx of that interest, I think, has truly impacted many of our county businesses. The CVB has also been working with the State Tourism Office to build the relationship and share upcoming events, trails, and county tourism destination locations so that the state can share with their audiences. Medina County is also attending the Ohio Tourism State Day in May, held on the State House lawn in Columbus. It's designed to kick off the summer tourism season in Ohio, gives us the chance to meet with legislators to ensure that they understand and support the CVB community. And in particular, we're pleased that the Ohio Tourism Office tagged the CVB when their social media post recognized Medina County as HGTV's top Christmas destination in Ohio. That designation came from the hard PR work of the CVB, together with Castle Noel, Griswold House, Main Street Medina, and Main Street Wadsworth. Those partners are just a few of the wide variety of tourism stakeholders in Medina County that we're engaging with. To make our interactions most effective, the CVB has developed a new customer relationship management system through Salesforce to manage contact databases, better communicate with stakeholders, maintain tourism key performance indicators, and track contacts and tours with bus and group tour operators. That proactive approach to connecting with the tourism industry has been on the forefront of the CVB's operational strategies. Capturing multiple stakeholder touchpoints allows our staff to address the needs of our tourism partners more efficiently. CVB staff attended both the American Bus Association and the Heartland Travel Show and took 70 appointments with the top bus companies and tour operators in the nation. We built organizational relationships and showcased that Medina County offers more than just a day trip to them. We want them to spend the night and earn those bed tax dollars. The 3-day, 2-night group tour itinerary that we developed and showcased at those events was well received, and many companies are now contacting the CVB to ask additional questions and confirm contact points so that we can get those bus tours added to their offerings. The CVB has also been working with industry partners who deal with buses and tour groups to give them updates on who's contacting them and to confirm when they arrive to the area. We know that those bus company tours will continue to grow as they are planning 2 years ahead, and the buzz around Medina County has been high. This work will continue even with the departure of Shannon Carter, whose last day as the CVB Executive Director was last Friday. The CVB Board is meeting next week to determine next steps for our CVB leadership, and in the meantime, we're in good hands with Jody Robbins, who managed the CVB by herself, I would add, the last March through August. I'm pleased to say that overall the CVB is a strong tourism operation with an organized board, and by continuing to implement the effective tourism marketing plan now in place, the CVB will keep growing and supporting the development of even more tourism businesses in Medina County. Just wanted to wrap up with a couple of updates on events that the Medina County Economic Development is planning. First of all, we are working with partners throughout Northeast Ohio to host our first Immigration Summit, which is scheduled for Friday, May 10th at the Blair Center from 7:30 to 11:30 a.m. We'll be hosting a breakfast and then followed by a keynote speaker. But the goal of the conference is really to explore immigration policy as well as resources, specifically regarding talent attraction. It's a huge issue that we want to kind of change the conversation about what this tool could really be. In addition to Logan Colas from the Buckeye Institute, we have a number of other very engaging speakers lined up, and we're working on securing sponsorships so that we don't have to charge attendees and we can kind of fill the room. Ohio Means Jobs, Westfield, and Rivago, and the Medina Chamber are already sponsoring the event. We expect to probably have about 150 executives and community leaders. We've been sending out save the date notices, but official invitations are going out this week. The Medina County Township Association has invited us to provide an Economic Development 101 presentation, and so we'll do that on May 16th, and we're looking forward to providing that education and strengthening relationships. And finally, please save the date of Wednesday, June 5th for an evening networking event at the Eagles in Medina. We're going to kick off the summer with a great networking picnic, planning on some fun activities, and we're also hoping to honor the recipients of the County Forward Fund Work Scholarships as well. I know that was a lot, so thank you for your patience. Lots going on.
Yeah, I certainly I want to impress what you're doing with, we'll just say, our young adults who would not be completing degrees, or basically they're high school diplomas or certificates are getting in the job force. So when you look at the hundreds that are being impacted, it literally turns into thousands as with somebody's career. Early on, to have that kind of disruption, or at least have that continued path, just means a whole lot to the next generation, no doubt. And I just appreciate for everything you've done there. It's interesting that when you start talking about the housing, and thanks for the work and the land bank, that, we know NOAC and Cleveland talk about these combined job hubs and using all these federal dollars necessary to create these workplaces close to where people live. And here we've got situations where actually it's not going to require that. We're just making sure that they've got an affordable place to live. We don't have to create brand new communities. We just have to utilize the resources we have so that people can afford to live here. Certainly in the entry level jobs. And just want to thank you also for taking a leadership role on the immigration summit. I think that's going to be it's a tough, sensitive topic, but I think it's appropriate for certainly our employers, our manufacturers, and those in the business community to take a look and see how we can engage in constructive dialogue regarding those issues.
Just a couple things to add. Well, as a resident of the south end of town in Montville Township, the Acme is a big development. I'm looking up. I saw Kimberly Marshall walk in. I know it's a big development for the city as well. So yet another example of collaboration and good outcomes, and all of which is going to benefit not just the city of Medina, but the population, almost the very growing population on that end of town too. Right. So that's a win. The other one that might have otherwise gotten lost in a long update, so I wanted to call attention to it. At last week's meeting, we talked about the CVB. Has there been any plans for any kind of an exit interview, or is anything like that?
I've already conducted that with Shannon,
great.
so I'll be sharing that with the board.
Yeah. It's great that that's going to go through the board, but it was something that had been mentioned, and I thought that seemed like a good idea. Yep. As we grow the organization and kind of keep looking forward, so we can capitalize on all the progress you've identified. So thanks for your work.
All right, thank you.
This is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's beautiful.
I know you've got to go, so all right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Appreciate the update. Richard, Chief Building Official. Thank you.
Good morning. That was a tough act to follow.
Yeah, isn't it, though?
Thanks for that.
You do okay.
Yes.
You've got a lot of numbers.
Yeah, Richard, you've got a spreadsheet. I don't know. I mean, I get really excited about this stuff. So.
Oh, good. Good. So our residential was down quite a bit. The value of construction and new home starts was down quite a bit for March. But it's nice. Commercial was up. So commercial was up 34% for the year now. And residential's down 18%. Cost of new homes is $269,800, which is amazingly close to the year to date. Very close. Usually those aren't that close. But new home starts was only 30 for March, which is about 12 down for the average. So it's a little bit, residential slowed down. Page 2, because of the slower residential, our monthly receipts for March are down 12%. Third page, our year-to-date receipts are only down 3%. Kept buoyed up by the commercial work. Page 4 is all residential permits by township and village for March. Page 5, commercial permits issued also by township and village. And the last page is more of a detail report of the commercial work. And the project on Route 18 for the Akron Children's Health Center, they're doing a big rework and adding a second floor on part of that building.
Is that the SUMA, former SUMA?
Yes, former SUMA section.
Without the commas, that's 10 million, right? Trouble is, when you don't put commas, I have to literally put
I agree.
a lot of zeros.
Yeah, I agree. I think this program doesn't like commas. And I thought about adding them
And
and
I'm not worried about the
reprinting it.
cents. I'm worried about the dollars.
Right, yeah, you're worried about the millions.
And that's actually not the SUMA building. That's the one there at River Styx, right?
Oh,
River
okay.
Styx in 18.
No, I think it's the
It is
Suma.
the Suma
It's
building?
a Suma?
There's
Yeah,
already a
that's
second
that-
floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
They-
adding a
they-
second floor?
They took part of it.
Yeah, right, they
Okay.
took part of it,
Took
right.
part of it, and they're adding a second floor that was kind of pre-planned.
Okay.
Right.
In the first floor, they pre-planned for a future addition. So that's what they're.
Yeah, I guess some of the SUMA offices will still remain, but what comes out, the remaining portion of it will be now under Akron Children's Hospital. When I
Okay.
talked to the
Yeah.
Akron Children's
Right.
representative at the Economic Development meeting, so.
That's
okay.
great.
It's a beautiful
Huge.
area.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now that 18's been all improved and get in
Yeah.
and out there all right. it's-
Yes.
Yeah.
Not just been, all we need is somebody to deliver some babies there.
That's not going to happen.
Just saying.
Not on purpose.
Some other news,
Yeah.
we had a new commercial code now started in early March. Ohio revisits a code cycle about on a 5-year interval. So the commercial code is new now, which will affect our Ohio service or the insurance service organization that does our
Gradings?
grading systems. They grade building departments, a pretty extensive grading system, and it affects the insurance rates for the area. So we'll be getting a revised report now because of that new
How long
code.
does it take them to update?
5 years ago, this happened again because we're off cycles. They're on a 5-year
Right,
cycle
yeah.
and we're on a 5-year cycle, but they're separated by at least a year and a half.
Okay.
And it seemed like by the end of summer, we had a new report from them.
Okay.
And do we anticipate which way our rates are going with the insurance?
Well, our grade will go up. Our grade will be
Yeah,
better.
yeah, be better, right.
Our grade will be better, which is interesting because the whole state's on the same code, so it's
Rising tides.
kind of an interesting thing. But so we would expect to get that in the coming months. And that's about all I have. This report will be on the website hopefully today.
All right, very good.
Yes.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
No,
Great,
great.
good job. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Open up public comment. Stan, you have anything, or?
Discussion possibly.
Now's the time to do it, if you wouldn't mind.
Steve, do you want to read the liquor permit?
Yeah, okay, while you're coming up, I'll just mention we have a notice of a liquor permit filing, basically transfer from Granite Golf Management Corporation Clubhouse Patio and Pool Area, located at 5420 Wolf Road, to 5420 Golf Group LLC Clubhouse Patio and Pool. All right, and just for a comment. All right.
Stan Sheets, 342 East Liberty Street,
Okay.
Medina, Ohio, semi-retired attorney and advocate for private property rights, etc. I passed out to you last year's bulletin. You have this year's bulletin. I
Right.
think both are beautiful. I was hoping to ask Bethany while she was here, but I know she was in a rush. We have 60,000 copies of these. They're dispersed all over the place. But what I found is not one goes into the hotels that are here in Medina County. We would like to see these come into our hotels also, because when our guests are there, people want to go out to destinations and events and know about restaurants, etc. I have them from all the surrounding counties. I have them from Pittsburgh. I have them from Columbus. I have them from Cincinnati, all in the one area of a kiosk that the state provides, but not one from Medina County. I checked with all 4 hotels in Seville. Not one have ever seen these products.
Okay.
So just a suggestion, again, to pass along.
Sure.
In addition, I was concerned, I believe the Convention and Visitors Bureau has done a fine job. However, there's things that need to be done personally, because also when I contacted all 4 of those hotels, they never met the director in the 8 months she was here. There's never been a call where someone goes into those hotels where they feel like they're any part of it, but they're the ones taking all the risk. They're the ones generating the funds to run this organization, and they are true stakeholders. They'd like to feel more a part of it, and they'd like to know the people that are doing this, and they like the people that are promoting it to understand their individual hotels. I think that's viable. I think if you're a hospitality person, you would want to do that. So I'd sure like to see that stressed in the future, that they actually visit those hotels. I do understand they did visit a few of the destinations and the events, and I think they're doing great digitally. But as far as personally, there's a lot more interaction that would be very beneficial. In addition, to the general public, unless you're a computer person and you know digital, you don't even know we exist, because there's no signage on the office area on the front window. There is for almost every other business that's within that building, but there's no signage for the Visitors and Conventions Bureau. There was signage on Public Square. There was a wayfaring sign right there, right in front of the building. That was taken off of it. So there's no encouragement for the public to ever call upon that office. When I talked to Dan Hostetler after he had left, he said pre-COVID they had 35 to 50 guests in almost every week. After, during COVID there was nothing. But there's something to that, to have a counter where guests can come in, they're in town and they want to ask questions or pick up brochures. And we don't have that capability in that kind of an office setting right now. The only signage in the entire building that's visible immediately to the public is by the elevator. And how many people even would make it in to even find that, to find where the office is. And most of them aren't going to walk up 24 steps to get to that office as far as the public. Also, the previous director always went out and met with these bus drivers or these bus groups. I haven't seen any of that going on where they actually go out and greet them and meet them so that they're meeting those guests and making a personal, not plea, but a personal welcome to Medina County and offering any assistance to those people that are going to be going out on Public Square after they have gone to Castle Noel or wherever their destination has been. So again, just trying to provide some additional insights, and I have provided most of these to Bethany. I kind of upset her a little bit because I made a public record request to find out how finances, how money has been spent over this past year, plus the first quarter, because what it appeared to me is almost 25% of the budget was going toward staff and or rental. And I know there's some subleases involved, but I know they're not long-term subleases. I know the banker has a 1-year lease with 2-year options, but it's not long-term, and you've got a 10-year lease that's been entered into. So there's just some concerns about transparency, viability, personal interaction with whoever that director becomes in the future. And, if I had my druthers, I'd be looking for, quote, the Energizer Bunny, somebody to be the face of tourism. I wish it could be Betsy Kling. I wish it could be Robin Svoboda. And I would love to approach those people, and make certain they know about such a thing. Just like Robin, she's semi-retired now too, but she knows Medina County. She lived in Westfield, she lived in Seville, she lived in Montville Township. Her kids went to Highland because they were in my boys' school. So I'm just saying there are personalities out there that know administration, but they also know public relations directly, and they can make presentations to organizations. They could be on TV, they could be on radio spots. So just again, suggestions for consideration of don't just think conventionally, simply putting a job thing on a website and think you're going to find the best people. There's ways to reach out to people that could make more sense. But thank you again for the opportunity.
Okay.
I truly appreciate it.
All right. Anything else? All right. Go ahead and proceed. Open up discussion. Chris?
Yeah, and Denise, actually.
Okay, cool.
It was about a month ago we had met and discussed the Lead Safe Ohio program and the concerns we had about our financial exposure for this program, specifically for potential of projects not ending up being funded for multiple reasons, and the fact that we would be on the hook for some administrative fees associated with the consulting agreement. Denise has negotiated a alternate optional agreement that Kleinfelder has now agreed to, which limits our exposure to a total of $20,000 over the life of the program, unless we authorize them to move forward with some additional service work. So it's our recommendation at this point that, excuse me, that we would move forward with executing the agreement with Kleinfelder with our exposure capped at that $20,000 number. Previously, we had talked about potential exposure of being up to $162,000, which was based on 13 units at $12,500 each. So we feel it's probably a much better agreement at this point, limits our exposure, and allows us to move forward.
Could you please explain why it's an exposure and not a direct cost?
Sure.
Oh, sure. Want me to talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the exposure is that the when they are assessing a property or needing to market, charge a certain percentage to market the program, work with the client, take in the application, those are what are defined as indirect or administrative costs. So that if the project does not move forward, then any costs associated with said project, we are responsible to pay.
So what it comes down to is if it goes to completion, as hopefully it will, then literally the county won't be on the hook.
Exactly.
Because the administrative costs. We would only be, if you will, that as you indicated, it's called exposure, only if the project doesn't go through.
Exactly.
So at what point do you just say, okay, this is not going to happen? Is that a decision by the property owner?
It could be at any point in the project. It could be a decision by the property owner. It could be the fact that perhaps the project is too expensive or not broad enough to take on. So there are, I think we came up with about a half a dozen reasons why a project could potentially not move forward.
Okay.
It could be anything and everything that we've thought of. So
that comes into place as the project, this is, lead safe means just testing to verify whether there are lead pipes and so forth
Right.
as a water source. Is that correct?
actually, the program does not require, if the location was built pre-19, thank you, pre-1977,
Okay.
we are not required to test. There is an assumption that, or I like the word presumption, that there is lead available in this location.
Okay, all right.
So testing is not required. If they decide to test, then that would become, part of the project and could potentially be something that, if the project does not move forward, that would be paid for.
Okay.
And Kleinfelder, I'm confident, will find locations that will move forward. I mean, they're going to move strategically.
So
We don't have time.
what's the total for the grant that we have?
802,000.
Okay, all right. And our total exposure, if you would be estimated at about 20,000.
Well, we have put a limit
You put a limit on
in
it?
the
Okay.
contract of 20,000. At that point, we would reconvene with Chris
Kleinfelder.
and Matt and myself and
Right.
Kleinfelder and talk through the issues.
Okay.
Significantly lower exposure
Well,
than
yeah,
a
agreed.
couple weeks ago.
Agreed, but there is a public benefit here in terms of the household, in terms of,
100%,
oh, yeah.
yes.
I did- And currently a lot of those aged structures that need to deal with that issue.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And they're going to have to move
Aaron?
fast and furious.
Yeah, I'm happy to, I'd love to take a look at the revised contract, obviously,
Sure,
before we put up on resolution.
Okay, I'd say,
Sounds great.
let's go ahead and move forward.
We have-
Put on the agenda, we have to do
I'm
resolution.
sorry, what did you say, Aaron?
I'd just love to take a look, I know I took a look at the original, we all
Okay.
saw the original, but just seeing the updated one would be great. in
Okay,
advance.
if you don't mind, yeah, so we did approve a resolution for an agreement with Kleinfelder pending prosecutor approval.
Okay, got it.
And so
Okay,
the
yeah.
resolution has been set, so I
Gotcha.
can get that, I'll send that to Rhonda, a copy of the
That'd
contract.
be great.
Well, and I imagine probably
So
the
the
only thing
limit
that's
to-
changed from the original draft is the
Section 6,
calculation.
Section 6, and the prosecutor kind of also revised some sections that he's now comfortable with in in consistency with the CHIP project, the CHIP contract as well, so.
Great.
Okay.
But the key point is Section 6, the compensation.
So we have to do an amended agreement?
We didn't execute the agreement, we just authorized the agreement
Got it.
pending
Okay, all right,
negotiations.
all
So
With the prosecutor. If you want another resolution, we can do that.
I don't think we need it.
Okay, all right,
I was under
okay.
the mistaken impression we did.
I would like you to review it,
Yeah,
however,
Please,
prior
yes,
to us.
yes, good idea.
moving
Okay.
All
forward
right,
with
I think
executing it.
conceptually, we're all agreed, at
Okay.
least we put that cap. Still has that benefit, and I think it's worth it.
Right.
So we will get that to you this morning.
Sure, super.
Can I just send that to
Good.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Or- Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That was all I had. Thanks.
Do you have time for one more?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
So, just as a friendly reminder, we have our Fair Housing Awareness Day scheduled for this Friday. The public is welcome to join. Steve is introducing our featured speaker, who is Vera Boggs from the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. Information coming, Steve, so I'll get you.
Starts at 9:30?
The doors open at 9:00,
Okay.
and I would like to thank the commissioners for sponsoring the breakfast.
Okay, definitely be there by 9.
Okay.
I know that
and,
there's a share cluster that somebody
I'm
else-
going to share
you're
cluster,
elsewhere, so
yeah.
Okay.
They're going at the same time, so, all right.
Ah,
We'll divide
okay.
and conquer.
All right, excellent. So it starts at 9:00 at the Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Will last till between 10:30 and 11:30, depending on how long participants would like to stay. If you would like to reserve a seat, please call Cheryl Heinley at 330-722-9293. And we'll get everyone in, but there is still time to reserve seats. So we're very excited. We have a great showing, and our Medina County Housing Network members will be there to showcase their services as well. So thank you for your support.
All right, very good. Thanks. All right. Matt, do you have anything? All right. Do you have anything for the auditor's office? All right. Aaron?
I just wanted to mention, and I think we all saw an email about it too, but the opposition testimony is happening in Columbus related to the proposed Brunswick interchange. So I have talked to Representative Ray about that. I'm going to reach out to Representative Miller's office too. But the hope for, I know we've had some folks at our meetings before. I don't think there's anybody here today that's been somebody who's spoken out about it. But for the members of the community, the hope would be that would move forward towards action in Columbus here in the relatively near future after they wrap up the opposition testimony. So what Representative Ray told me last week was she believes there's a possibility that there won't actually be any opponent testimony. And keep in mind the bill itself as proposed is a repeal of the legislation that would potentially create the interchange. So
Well, actually requires the creation of an interchange. yeah,
right.
which
So
is
the
totally unusual.
So the upshot is
Yeah.
the absence of opposition testimony is a good thing in this
That's
case,
right.
as
Yep.
opposed to in the initial creation of the bill. So, so I just want to provide that update. I'm sure that our friends in the city of Brunswick are mobilizing on that as they've done every step of the way. But I thought it was just worthy of another public update because it does still impact a lot of people in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the habit is, and I'm pretty sure that the committee's following that same process. Typically, when they do opponent testimony, there's not a whole lot written. They also do interested party or anybody, just basically all testimony. And I know in Brunswick, when you look at the social media, a lot of them are preparing new letters or additional letters in support of the legislation. So that only helps the bill get through. And
Yep.
I know that they're hopeful it'll be able to get it to the floor as soon as possible.
And from what I've heard, the House is the hiccup there, or the potential hiccup, I should say.
Well, that's where it came from.
Yep.
So, Colleen?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. I know before us, a week or two ago, we did end up producing a letter regarding the Department of Development, our shelter, the shelter funding. And it appears that I could certainly relay that there's some success and response from the Department of Development with Metropolitan Housing, putting together some alternative funding sources that actually do not require a legislative fix, but actually just has to go through the controlling board. We may be, if at least for the first year, it may be considered a pilot project of some sort, but they are working on it. So our letters are working, and everybody's, I'll just say, refusal to accept no as an answer is good, because they are responding for a project that has widespread support, and certainly we've got the documentation that emergency housing shelter is needed. So I just want to put that on record and say it sometimes it does pay off to complain.
Yeah.
Right, Stan? Okay. Okay, sorry. Anything else for the good of the order?
That's a good
Okay.
answer.
Entertain a motion?
Oh, and we do have a other meeting today at 3
Oh, I do,
o'clock. Yeah.
but I think are we going to go ahead and adjourn and then just have a special meeting then? Or a continuation?
Adjourn and have it as special.
Okay,
meeting.
good. I'll just point out, we will have a special meeting with the auditor, Keith Faber, regarding county matters. He had asked to come and meet with the commissioners. I'm not sure what's on the agenda. It could be just a general discussion regarding their process. So we'll be meeting with him. I think we did this a couple
3
of years
o'clock?
ago.
Yeah,
3
couple of-
o'clock. We
yeah.
did it a couple of years ago. So with that, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Pearson?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. Okay, very good. Everybody have a good day. Enjoy the sunshine.